Okay, there we go. I finally done it. It only took me 4.5 to 5 minutes to maybe get all of you in here. So that's pretty great. Okay. I feel very proud of myself, especially on a Friday afternoon. And I want to just provide some context. So before I get started, for anybody who doesn't know me, I'm Laura Budd. This is my 7th school year here at PA Distance. I am the career education and work coordinator. I've also done many other things in the school over the years since I've been here. If you've been here, you know that. If you have any questions about anything after the training, I am very willing to answer those for you and meet with you separately. So just keep that in mind as we're moving through, because we only have an hour, and career is a lot. So you may have questions, which again, that's fine. Just let me know. I do have a pause in the presentation about halfway through to answer just some very quick general questions. So if you could please hold any questions that you might have until that time so that I can be mindful of everyone's time, I do appreciate that. So I wanted to just recognize first, of course, we met our state goal last year, which is amazing. I'm sure everybody saw the 75 million emails that I put out encouraging you all to make this push so that we could reach the goal, and we did. So again, I just want to thank everybody for all of your hard work. I really do appreciate it. Nothing gets done without you all. I'm just in the background pushing. So everybody should give themselves a round of applause and feel good about this. There are public schools that are brick and mortar that have not met this goal. So be proud of yourselves. Okay, so for today, some of your beautiful faces are in my way and I can't see my slide. So for today, this is what we're going to go over. We're going to talk about the general program requirements for CEW, career education and work. Just review a little bit about some of the features available to you in Smart Futures, which is the primary housing location for artifacts for students, activities, and serves as their portfolio as well. We'll review some additional student experiences and opportunities that are available through the CEW program. We won't get in too deep with the resources, but I will share them with you, and everyone will have access to this slide deck to go ahead and click on those links and check those out at your leisure. We'll complete a really, really short reflection activity, and in that activity will also be a verification form for you to go ahead and get Act 48 for today. Okay. And let me look at the chat here. I had a couple.
Laura, can I interrupt you real quick?
Yes, I just saw that.
You saw Brandon's chat.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yep.
Get in there if I can. Okay. Yep, I just saw that. Thank you so much. Okay. Getting everybody in here. Okay. Sorry if you're just getting let in. I apologize about that. Okay. Okay, I think I got everybody. Yes. Okay. Okay, let me know if I missed anybody. Okay. So here are we're going to move right into what's required here. This is just the basics. So keep in mind that career is everywhere. So it's not just within this program, it's in your courses, it's all over the place. So this is just what we require with our program here at PA Distance. So the very first thing here are the lessons that we have, which are all housed in the program that we use called Smart Futures. The exceptions to that are the swag sheet, which is considered a career plan in the eyes of the state of Pennsylvania, and then the reflection. So those two items as of now are not actively in Smart Futures and student portfolios. Those have to be tracked separately. We're working on ways to figure this out. Example, Smart Futures promised me that this year there would be templates for staff to create their own lessons. This could have been one of them. Needless to say, that isn't happening. I'm hoping that they're still going to be rolling that out because that would be really helpful for everyone. Okay. The next part here, just keep in mind that assignments are distributed monthly and they're based on student grade level. The CEW map that's linked right in this slide outlines everything. So please make sure that you're reviewing this against your own curriculum map so that you ensure that you are given the lesson that you are in fact responsible to give. That's one of the reasons that we're having a live training this year instead of asynchronous, just to ensure that questions get answered and resources are shared, right at the forefront here so that we're not missing anything. Okay. And again, if you have questions as we go through, write those down. We'll have a moment here soon to answer some of those. Okay. And then it's important that we technically did away with tracking because everything is in Smart Futures. However, in order to hold ourselves accountable as well as following up with students consistently, you will need to track monthly completion of lessons using the spreadsheets that I have provided to you. So as a team, you need to determine who's going to do the tracking done through Smart Futures and who's going to input that information into these grade level lesson tracking sheets. It's really important that these are done. These aren't for me. I do my own tracking quarterly, but I don't track monthly. There's no time for me to do that. So as educators, teachers, you have to do this and you have to follow up consistently with your students. Okay. If they're not doing a lesson that they're supposed to do in September, you should be following up with them immediately and continue to do so until they complete the lesson. We don't want to play the end of year rush like we've done every year. We really want to be mindful of that and stop that trend. Okay. So please use the tracking sheets. They're for you. Add students in there, remove students if they withdraw. You can type directly in those. So again, those are for you. Okay. And then we do have a Schoology course for career readiness, CEW. So you can actually take lessons that are already created for you for every month, every grade level that's mapped in that CEW map. The Schoology course, you can go into your grade level, pick out the month that you're responsible for, copy slides, lesson content, directions, and take that right into your own Schoology course. Okay, so don't make any changes or anything to the course, but you can use that to your advantage. Okay. All right. So again, they're housed in this course. You can copy anything you want from them, just don't change anything. Please ensure that you're giving your students a grade for each of the assignments for CEW. The higher, the better. If you're giving them a 10-point participation award for this, it's not enough. They're not going to do it. So you need to make the point levels higher. I really, really encourage this. Technically, it's not required to do so, but you're just hurting yourselves. So again, recommend giving a high rate here, a high value on these assignments. Okay. And the Schoology course also includes student and teacher resources. So if you're looking for something to give to your students, I try to keep this updated. Sometimes I may fall behind because it's just me doing it right now, but more in the lobby. Sheesh. Okay. You guys got to get here on time. Ding, ding. 1 o'clock start, people. Make it happen. Okay. So anyways, the course has a bunch of great resources that you can give to your students, which is really helpful, I feel. Okay. Now, swag sheets, huge shout out to Vicky. I don't know what I would have done without Vicky. I don't know what I would ever do without Vicky. She helped with this process last year. She helped get everything ready again this year. Autocrat is a beast and not my friend. Becca, if you're here, you probably love this kind of stuff, but it's not my baby. So anyways, the swag sheets, those are required for all students K to 12. Those are completed each year because goals change. So it's important that these are done every year. There's a different swag sheet based on these grade levels that you see on the screen. We've got K to 2, 3 to 5, 6th grade, sorry, you're kind of on an island, and then 7 to 12 being the transition age students. That's how we kind of outlined this process here. So each swag sheet really does cater more towards the grade levels that you see. Seeing some chats here. Yeah. Oh yeah, Matt, big help in the beginning there from last year. Absolutely. Okay. Perfect. Okay. We have one more slide here and then we're going to have some time for some general questions if necessary. Okay. And again, you'll have access to all these slides so you can see the guidelines for the swag sheets. You can see all these resources that I'm giving you. Everything is also located in the Staff Resource Center under Career Readiness CEW. Okay, so huge shout out here. Katie Howes has helped me get these course guides created for the 16 different career pathways. So once you click on this career pathway brochure and you click on, let's just say the very first pathway, agriculture, food, and natural resources, you're going to see a bunch of information there. One of those being some course guides. I will be just making sure that they're correct by running those past the high school counselors. So heads up, high school counselors, I'm going to be sending those to you just to take a quick look at them and make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. Because you are the experts. That's not Katie and I. So we'll appreciate your help just getting that finalized. So all students in 8th through 12th grade should be selecting a career pathway. Again, this can change and that's okay, but the courses they take, everything that they do should cater around the pathway that they've chosen. So if we have a kid in business, he shouldn't be taking classes in hospitality and tourism. I mean, maybe he can, but we really want to center all of his courses around his selected pathway. Special education teachers really use this data as well. So it's really important that the SWAGs, everything matches. So whatever pathway a kid picks, it should show on all of their data points. Okay. It should just be in one location. So if you see some inconsistencies, let's figure out what they are. We need to talk to the student, go in and change the pathway selection in the SWAG, whatever we need to do to make sure that everything lines up and there's a clear story about what our students want to do after they leave high school. Okay. So please use this when you're talking with your kids, share it with them, however you want to do that. That would be great. I think this is a great resource. And a lot of people helped out with getting this finalized. So I appreciate that. Okay. So now's the time to, harass me with all of your beautiful questions. I'm just kidding. So anybody have any questions right now? We're about halfway through. Let's see what I got here. Okay. Should we take away grade points if they don't do the CEW assignments? Absolutely. Any other questions?
Laura, this is Vicky again. I don't know what you have planned in the second half, but just from conversations that like Marissa and Tanya and I have had with staff, I think it might be helpful if you just breezed over like the CEW map again and showed people that, and then the course in Schoology. And then I don't know if you have time to show like in Smart Futures, if you were looking at a student and how it has the future ready and it shows like how many artifacts they need versus what strand they're missing. I think that might fill some gaps for people based on conversations we've had.
Okay. Yeah, we can take a step back. We're going to be going into Smart Futures in a moment, but we can take a quick step back and take a quick glance at the map, and we can also look at the Schoology course. It'll just take a moment. Let's see what else we have first. Will monthly reminders be sent for those who are scheduled? So I shouldn't need to do this because it should be mapped in your curriculum. And as you know, it's your responsibility to keep current with what's in your mapping. But yes, email reminders will be sent. Any other questions? And Tanya, I know you can speak to the mapping too. So if anybody's struggling or doesn't know where to see what's mapped for CEW, please let us know, okay? Because we don't want you to be swimming around trying to figure out where something is. We want you to be prepared. Okay, Chris said, oh, excuse me. Where do I find out what and when I teach? That you'll have to go to your supervisor for that. And then based on the answer that you get, I can work with you to determine what you may or may not have to give the students as far as the monthly lessons are concerned. Does that help, Chris? I'm sorry.
All of the career education and work activities that are in the career education and work map are in Embark. I did verify that they were all in there and correct. So the actual Embark course curriculum map for your course does have the CEW activity mapped in there. And I went through this summer and verified that they were there. Easier look would be to use the CEW map that Laura is about to pull up here for the month, and then the grade level and content area that is responsible If anybody finds a conflict or anything like that in your Embark map, please let me know. It might not be exactly lined up with where the month is, just based on people moving things around in their actual curriculum map, but they are all in there and mapped. So.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you. And I may have sounded a little rude earlier when I was talking about sending you reminders. And that's not that I don't want to send you reminders. It's just that I don't want to dictate things to you guys, and we're all professionals. I want us to really take ownership of what we're doing here. So I just encourage you to reference your maps, go to myself, go to Tanya, and let me not give you that crutch, right? I don't want to have to do that. Maybe after this year that'll go away, but we're in year 7 of our programming. So I'm hoping that soon we won't have to do that. Okay. So I didn't mean to, take that any type of way, but that's just where we're at. Okay. So here's the map. You can see it's broken down in bands. So if you look at the tabs on the bottom, K to 3 is the first tab. So up at the very top, you're going to see information for kindergarten. As you scroll down, you'll see first, second, and third. And then column C will tell you who's responsible for what lesson. And if you go, for example, to kindergarten, and I'm going to highlight this row here, line 5, you'll see that the September lesson is lesson number 1 in Smart Futures, called My Interests. And this is responsible, the social studies teachers or teacher is responsible to distribute that lesson. And you can see here in column E that it covers a specific strand. So career awareness and prep is covered in that lesson. Let me see what's in the chat here. Yeah, we have some new people, that's for sure. Okay. Thanks, Mandy. Hopefully everybody can access that. I appreciate that. Okay. Yep, and if you're new to your course, yeah, absolutely. This is like the CEW, the Bible for CEW. That's true. Okay. So that's K to 3. And then if you go to the next tab, you'll see 4 and 5. And you will see here for 5th grade, if you teach 5th grade, this September lesson, workplace roles, that was removed by Smart Futures. They didn't really let us know. They just sort of took it away. So lucky you, you have one less lesson that you're responsible if you're in the 5th grade. So the social studies teacher or teachers, you no longer have to do that. So your first lesson, aside from the swag sheet, will be in October. And you can see here that's number 9, called Career Training Programs. And the science teacher is responsible for that. Yeah, Nicholas, very true. Okay. So does anybody want to look at anything else while we're in the map? Does everybody feel okay with this? I think Mandy put the link in there for me. Again, I appreciate that. So use this to help you make sure that what you have in your own mapping is correct. And again,
Laura,
please don't hesitate to come to us with questions, Tanya or myself. Yeah, Tanya, is that you?
this is Vicky. Sorry.
Oh,
Can
Vicky,
you
sorry.
just jump over to the 8th grade tab? I think that might
Sorry.
help Christina, because Christina, are you 6th grade
Yeah.
science? I'm trying to remember. She's brand new, so like this would just get
Oh,
her.
okay. Yeah, and if you're new, I'm happy to meet with you outside of this training, just to be mindful of others' time, because we do only have an hour. So I'm happy to meet with you separately. I can schedule something. You can look on my calendar, throw in anything that's open. I'm more than willing to help. Okay, let's see what we have in here. I don't, the PLP question, I don't know if I can answer that. That might have to be a supervisor question. I'm not sure how they're handling that. But as far as like being able to track on your own, if that's part of your goal, yeah, you can use that. I think, is that what somebody was alluding to?
Yeah, the idea is to do one and then one additional one, but this is one of the ones that you need to count.
Oh, okay, perfect. That's good to know. Thank you. Okay, good questions here. Okay, so anything else anybody wants to look at on the map before we move forward here? Okay, let's see, a couple more items are coming in. Okay, so Caroline, that's a great question. So if you want to change what's going on with the way your assignments are, definitely email myself and Tanya, and we'll take a look at what you have and make sure that it's appropriate to move it. And if it is, which I'm sure it won't be an issue, we can go ahead and change the mapping. And that goes for anybody. If you have a lesson and you feel like you could better fit it into another area in your own lessons and your curriculum, you know, this is not set in stone. We can make changes as long as we're still meeting the standards and keeping everything aligned. Yeah, so just send out an email to myself and Tanya, and we'll figure that out. One of our hopes of PLPs, yeah, is that you find opportunities and naturally embed. Exactly, and that's been the goal since day one. Anybody who's been here from the beginning, we didn't have smart futures at the beginning. All the lessons were created by myself and counselors who are no longer here. So everything was really created from scratch. And we can certainly get back to that at some point, but we have to be really careful with how we do that. But yes, there's opportunity for sure. Goals to utilize something we're already doing, but to utilize it as a CEW event, not in addition. Okay, thanks, Charlie. That makes sense. Yeah, and I can help with that too. If you are looking for maybe a contact, I might have one, or maybe I can help get you one. If you're trying to do an event or something like that, just let me know. Okay, anybody else? I don't want to go too quickly here. Not seeing anything else right now. Okay, I'm going to close out the map for now, but again, please just come to me. Like I said, I'm more than happy to meet with you quickly. It doesn't have to be a lengthy thing, you know, 5-10 minutes. Questions you have, I can definitely help. Okay. All right, let's go back here for a second. Oops. Bear with me here. Okay, let's take a quick look at the course. So this should be updated. If anyone sees anything that looks weird or a lesson changed or was taken away or something needs added, let me know. But when you go in here again, just be really careful. If you take something out, it's gone. So just be really mindful of that. You can see here the very first folder includes resources for students. So you can take a look at that at your leisure, but there's a bunch of different things in there. There's dual enrollment stuff in there, which we'll talk about very briefly in a moment here. Information for Smart Futures, post-secondary presentation recordings, some local and county-wide events and resources for students, things of that nature. And then when you get down here, you can see all the folders are labeled based on grade. So the first one would be kindergarten. And as you can see, all the lessons are here, and these align directly with what we just looked at in the map. So the first one would be the swag sheet, which is typically done by most grade levels in orientation. Anyone who's not doing it in orientation is doing it within the first month of school, I believe is what's happening there. But for September, if you open up the folder that says September, it will give you everything you need. It gives you slides. It gives you very basic directions, what the lesson objective is. You can copy that and put it in your own course. You can send it via email. You can do, you know, whatever you think is best for your students. We're not really dictating, you know, how you distribute it at this point, but my recommendation would be to put it in your own course and assign it that way. Is that what the direction was, Vicki, from, I see you shaking your head. I just want to make sure.
That's
Okay.
what, yeah, that's what I always did.
Perfect. And I think that's the easiest way because it should really be embedded right in there anyways. So grab what you need, copy, paste it over, and you should be good to go. And you can see it goes all the way down. So just a reminder, 11th and 12th grade, they're the same lessons throughout because technically standards are supposed to be met by 11th grade. So we're not going to produce more lessons if not needed. So if we have a 12th grader who hasn't done a lot of stuff, we can direct them to do the 11th grade activities. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me see what's in chat here. Okay, for additional CEW items, what documentation is needed to count something as an activity? Student generated responses, drawings from K students on what I want to do when I grow up. So there's an SOP. That's a great question for that. And it tells you how to, like, what the requirements are for creating an additional activity on your own outside of Smart Futures, and also shows you how to upload what your students have done and put it into their portfolio in Smart Futures. Essentially, it has to be reflective in nature. The activities cannot just be quiz responses. It can't be something where everybody's answering the same questions. Any activity that you create has to be more of like the I statements. I believe I'm going to do this in the future because it has to all be personalized. So again, if it's reflective in nature, and that's what you're doing with your students, great. If they're doing a career presentation in class, we have a form already created where they can click a link and fill out a reflection directly in Smart Futures. So make your lives easier. Don't do something separate. Come to me. All this stuff is also in the Schoology resource CEW course. So if you want to have a guest speaker come in, use the reflection form, because that's automatically individualized and it goes straight into Smart Futures. So there's no uploading. Okay, so I just want to be very clear. That's a really, really great thing that you can use. It's actually right here as I say that. So I'll show you what it looks like. It's very easy. This is just if you want to have your students earn something like a career-based experience, if it's something they're attending in your class, they open this up, you can share it with them. They follow these directions. It's only one slide now. It's been cut down. And that's pretty much it. So use this, please. Okay. All right. Any questions about the class? I see a chat here. Oh, just thumbs up. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Matt. Okay. And I do try to, like I said, keep these resources up to date. If you know something that's coming up that you want to send me via email, I can go ahead and, put that in here as well. Oh, got some more guests. Sorry about that. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, I think I got them. Vicky says, something I like to do with my artifacts is I keep a Google Doc with the description. Yeah, that's a good point, Vicky. So for easy copying and pasting, and that's, I don't know where I put that, but it is somewhere, maybe on the Padlet, like a pro tip. But yes, keep a Google Doc, answer all the questions for each lesson that's required for Smart Futures. And then that way, when you have to do like 10 or 15 kids or maybe more, you just copy and paste right into Smart Futures and it makes it easier. And when you're reviewing the SOP, you'll be able to see what those specific questions are. It's not too many, but if you don't have a record of what standards are met, for example, it could get a little tricky because you have to keep going in and clicking. But if you already know what they are and you have them written in your Google document, that will definitely help ease the process for sure. Thank you for that. Yeah, title too. Yeah. Thanks, Vicky. Vicky's got resources. So see Vicky for that too. Okay, let's see. The real MVP. That's right. Okay, anybody else have anything with the course? All right, I'm not seeing anything. So I'm gonna X out of here for now. And move on here. Jump back to where we were. Okay, so now we're looking a little bit closer at Smart Futures. So hopefully at this point, everyone's been able to request an account. If you haven't, of course, there's also an SOP for that, as there is for everything. So you can click on that, and it sometimes takes 48 hours to get a new account, but the Smart Futures rep, she's pretty fast. So if you send her a request, usually it's done almost instantly, which is really helpful. And this will allow you to have full access to see all the features that we're about to talk about. Does anybody not have an account yet or still has requested one but is waiting? I actually think the rep was out yesterday, so she might be behind. Let's see. Oh yeah, Deanna, that was the name change thing from before. I have no idea why that was still an issue because you had an account from before. So I put in a tech ticket for that with Smart Futures. So hopefully that gets taken care of. And then Adam's waiting. Yeah, I think she might have been out yesterday. So hopefully by Monday, Adam, you'll see something. Yeah, no problem. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Okay, so these are just some of the key features of the Smart Futures program. I'll just work left to right, and please feel free to explore these, on your own after this training to really familiarize yourself with what the program has to offer. The first part is the monitoring of future ready progress. So this is just the general space where you can see what all of your students have completed so far. It's a really nice feature. My favorite, which we'll talk about in a second, is the grade book. But before we get to that, the next block here talks about how you can log in as your own student or a test student. So I will just say, be careful if you log in as your student. If you're working with them in real time, that's great. You can log in and help them if they really need that one-on-one help, but just make sure you're not answering things for them without them, of course, being present during the actual lesson. But you can also log in as a test student and you can actually see what the lessons look like, what materials are there. You can check everything out. It's not going to hurt anything because it's a test student, which is really nice. And I have a whole slide deck with Smart Futures that breaks down all of these different components. So I'm happy to give that to anybody who needs more. Creating custom reports. This is really nice, but I would definitely say don't roster more than 50 students per class or section because some of it gets cut off because it's too many kids. The only people that can put more than 50 in a custom report would be like administration or account owners. So just be careful. Don't do more than 50 kids. You'll get caught up with that. And this is my favorite. I think it's really easy to see. So when you go into the grade book, and I can actually show you guys this, you can actually see what the students have done. So if they're in progress with an assignment, if they've completed it, if it's blank and they've done nothing, you'll be able to see that as well. So let me actually open up my account here and I can give you guys a quick look at this. I think that was one of the things that Vicki had mentioned as well. So let me log in there. I think that was it right after this. Vicki, was there anything else that we haven't touched on so far? We
No,
may
just
still
that.
cover some questions. Yeah.
Just that. And then Sam, I saw your question. Tech support handles students. If it's a brand new student, they might not be in there yet. So I would say it just depends on if it's a student that's been here or not. But if you get into school and like a student is still missing, you would put a ticket in by emailing support@padistance.org for the kids that you need in there.
Yeah, I do have an update on that as well. Tech support just told me that all students as of today who were enrolled, I think as of yesterday, should be in Smart Future. So I know there's been some question on when that was happening. So I did get an answer. If you still don't see a kid, put in a ticket if they've already been here. Did somebody else unmute? I thought I saw somebody else coming on. Was that you, Maggie Kelly Brown?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say Adam said that they would be in by the end of the week.
Okay.
But you said that, but the one kid I had is a returner and they're still not in there, so I'll just touch base with him.
I ran into this situation with Pete the other day. It could be because the student went in and changed their name in the account without telling anybody. So you could run into a situation where they've decided that they'd like to go by a different name and they've changed it. So that could be what's happening. So maybe email me on that student and I'll see if I can do a little digging and see what I can find out. We were able to figure out his student situation. So just let me know if you guys run into any of those issues. And then the very last thing before I show you a little feature in Smart Futures, this is the big one here. There's an SOP attached. This shows you how to upload extra artifacts. So this is anybody who has a PLP goal, this is what you're going to want to focus on. how do I actually get what I'm doing with the students into their portfolios? This shows you how to do it. Just to reiterate, please don't use Google Drive. We do not put anything in there. Vanessa and I have been working for 3 years to move all artifacts from Google Drive into Smart Futures. It is extremely time consuming. We still have over 100 kids to move artifacts for. So please don't use Google Drive. Everything has got to go into Smart Futures. Okay, Google Drive's only being used for Act 158 items, maybe old career pathway documents, maybe something academic, but nothing with CEW should be in there. Okay, so please don't use Google Drive. Okay, let me see what's in the chat here. Yeah, there might be some students, if they're on your personal roster, Emma, that are no longer at PA distance, you can just go ahead and remove them. I'll be working on rostering by graduation year in the program for my own admin account. But if you have your own roster, you should be able to just X out.
Well, that was when
any
I was
kids you
putting them in. I realized that I went through, I had to click all of them, so I realized there's a bunch of names that I don't know. So
Yeah,
I just had to make sure they didn't still go here, and yeah, there's a
yeah,
lot.
it's kind of a pain because sometimes you'll have kids that, you know, move on or don't move on, so you got to figure out that too. So yeah, definitely check your rosters, and if you're running into some issues, just let me know. So if you don't have an instructor access code, that's to get an account. So you'll have to follow the SOP that's on the SOP site underneath career readiness, and it'll show you how to request a Smart Futures account. And it's usually pretty quick, the turnaround. Yeah. And I'll give you guys a link to these slides in a minute here. Yeah, I want to show you just one feature here. Okay. Can everybody see my screen here? Can you see the Smart Futures program?
No, just your slides.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Oh, bear with me for a second. Let me escape out of here. Okay. Now we should be able to. How's that?
Yep.
Okay. So the gradebook feature is my favorite. Okay. And if you go into your account on the left-hand side, underneath your dashboard, underneath my reports, this is where all the great things take place as far as tracking. I like the gradebook if you're not having to look at a bunch of kids because it's easy to see what they're doing. So you click on gradebook, you can select your class. So I'll just pick class of 2025 just to pick something. It takes a minute because I have all the kids in here, which I do have to go through and update based on who's in this graduating class for this year, but it won't take as long probably when you guys do this because you won't have as many kids in your rosters. But as this is coming up, you can see on the left-hand side, you have all of your kids' names, okay? And then at the very top bar, it shows you all the different activities. So the very first one we can see here is activity number 1, which is a required activity for this grade band. And if you scroll on here, you can see anybody in green. So I can't. So, okay, so sorry, anybody in green is fully completed with the assignment, but like Anthony here in yellow, this student started the assignment but didn't finish it. And then if we keep scrolling, oh, maybe they all have it done. Or working on it at least. Okay, so here's some blanks. So anybody that has nothing, just that little dash, means they haven't even started activity number 1 in this band. Okay, and I really like this, but you can also use the other reporting features. You can make a custom report, which will put everything in a sheet for you so that you can see what they've done. Let's see what's in the chat here. Oh, okay, I think we answered that one. Yes, Jody, the SOP link is right in the slides, and I'm going to share the slides in just a couple of minutes here. Hopefully that helps answer that. Okay. Thanks, Vicky. Oh, Vicky, what would I do without you? Okay. Anybody have any other questions? I don't want to, like I said, spend too much time on here, but I'm happy to meet with anybody in small groups or individually to further break down the features of Smart Futures. But I don't want to go over our time here.
Do you have the other view where it shows like the future ready when you can just hover over
Yeah.
the kid
Yeah,
to show them that?
Yep, so if you go back to your dashboard, click on that to get back to the main page. So you're going to want to monitor future ready progress. So you just click on the tab that says that. You select your class. We'll do 2025 again. We have to give it a minute just to load up. Okay, and then almost there. Okay, so I got to move all of you over so I can get to this side. So underneath a student, so the very first student here, if you click on the little drop down that says options, this is where you can log in as a student, you can view their portfolio, you can view detail, but then right next to that, it shows you two numbers, something out of something. So 0/0 for this kid. That means that this student has not completed any artifacts, hasn't covered any strands, okay? Now, I don't want you to think of this as the end all be all because everything is based on enrollment date. So even if this says this kid needs 8 artifacts, they may not need 8 artifacts. So it's very important to remember that we can't always go by this. We have to go by the final tracking that I usually share out pretty early that'll show you exactly what a kid needs based on his enrollment date with us here at PA Distance. So I just want to throw that out here. You can certainly use this as a guide. So in this grade band, students, by the time they reach 11th grade, should have 20 artifacts. If the kid has none, obviously that's a red flag. However, if they've only been here a couple years, they don't need 20 artifacts. So I don't want anybody to panic because that's really just not the case. Does that make sense? Yes, I panic. Hold on, let me look at the chat. Yeah, so the artifacts are the first number, that is correct, and the strands is a second. There's 4 total strands for the career standards, 13.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. If you hover over a student who did them all, you're not going to see anything, right? Because they have a 4 in the second number area. But for this student, it shows you that they still need, again, according to Smart Futures, and their grade band, in this grade band, this student still needs 4 artifacts and has to meet 1 strand, which is career retention and advancement. But again, if they've only been here for a couple years, they don't need 8 artifacts. Let's see what else is in here. How do you know which number is which strand? Did we answer that, Sam, or did I just answer that for you, or do you need more clarity for that? Yeah, 13.4 is the most difficult one for the kids to hit, entrepreneurship. Yeah, and then when they miss it, it does hurt. So if you want to think about a lesson for your PLP, maybe think about one that meets that area, especially for our high school kids and middle school for that matter. Elementary doesn't seem to have as much of trouble with that strand as the upper grades. Yeah, and the map will show you that as well. Absolutely. Okay. Did I miss anybody's questions? I
Laura, I'm not
apologize.
sure if
Yeah.
this is what she was asking, but I think
Yeah.
she was asking like if they are missing like that entrepreneurship, how do they
Yes.
know like which like particular lessons like in Smart Futures would cover that
Oh,
particular strand?
what
I
I
think that's
meant.
what she was asking.
Okay,
That's
that's
what I
a
meant.
good question. So I can show you that. So if you go back to your dashboard, let's manage my classes. I'll go back to the class of 2025. Everybody over so I can see. So I'm just going to log in as one of the students so you can see some of the activities. And you all have access to do this. Again, just be careful. Don't click on any, like don't start completing anything without the student present. So if you go on the left-hand side, when you're logged in as a student, you click activities. And then you can actually see, this is pretty nice because this is what the students see. So anybody that's a student in the 9 to adult band, which is technically 9 to 11, is going to see all of these activities. So the very first one, which is one of the required activities, the student completed it. If you hover across these pictures here, you can see the following strands are covered in this activity. So the strands that are covered are career awareness and prep, and then entrepreneurship, which that's why we mapped that one, because to Vicky's point and several others, this is the most difficult strand to hit. So if they do this activity, they've hit the strand. So they're good to go with entrepreneurship. And they've also hit career awareness and prep, which is the very first 13.1. Entrepreneurship is 13.4. And the CEW map, again, does show what strands are covered based on the activity from this program. So the second activity you can see covers awareness and prep, and also retention and advancement, which is a different one. That's 13.3. And then acquisition is 13.2, or maybe I'm reversing them. I always do that. But that's all your strands right there, essentially. Here's career acquisition for activity number 3. Let's see what's in the chat. Mr. Entrepreneurship himself. Yeah. Okay, Tyler. Yep, get on it. Okay, anybody else have any questions about these activities? This, I just showed you right here how to log in as a student. So hopefully that helped too, give you a different perspective. See something coming through here. She's out. Okay. All right. Okay. Here we are. We're back. So I've now moved on from Smart Futures. There's a lot that goes into Smart Futures. So if your question wasn't answered, or if you need more information, please just come to me, because we are quickly running out of time. Okay. Something else that's part of the program. So these are additional opportunities or experiences that the students should be getting from this program. And counselors work really hard, and other teachers work really hard to help give the student these extra experiences. So while they're not required, they are very highly encouraged. All the principals are on board for those last 3 bullet points for those grade level events. We've already started planning for this year. We have meetings set up for the career fair for K to 5, the Motivating the Middle event for 6 to 8, and then high school career week for 9 to 12. So the counselors all organize this now. This has turned into their baby. It's no longer mine. I'm a little sad about it, but I still help, and I try to support as much as I can with those 3 big events. But they've really done a great job taking them on and you know, doing all the work that goes into it, which is a lot. So please encourage your students to attend these events, because they work really hard to get them going. Okay. And then we also, of course, have virtual post-secondary presentations with the counselors are also spearheading those this year. Joanna is helping a lot, trying to get those scheduled as early as she can, so that those are out of the way, and then she can focus on helping in other areas where necessary. And then there's also tours and events. Counselors, again, are really assisting a lot this year with those. They're really taking that over as well. I, of course, am in the background helping, and CE can also help and also attend these kinds of events. So if you see something that you think would be cool, that's career related, that you think our students should be attending, just send it to myself and include Angela as well, if you remember. If not, that's okay. I'll loop her in. But these are some really great opportunities for the kids. Yeah, shout out Joanna. That's right. She's jumping in. Okay, and you guys, again, you can also incorporate your own career-related experiences for students, right? You know, during your class time. So, you know, adjust what you want, make it happen. If this is something you want to do, let's do it. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. I keep looking in the chat thinking I'm going to get a serious question. Then I see a cute little emoji. Okay. All right. So the next section, this will be quick. These are student opportunities right now only geared for 11th and 12th graders. So we've got dual credit / dual enrollment. The state's really leaning towards calling it dual credit. So I'm trying to work on renaming everything. We also got a grant for $10,000 for dual credit. The focus is really on a specific demographic, a specific student. So any students that are struggling financially, students of color is really what the grant focuses on. So the counselors are, and by counselors, I mean Emma and Mandy, shout out to you both. You're really pushing it, are really trying to spread this opportunity out. I mean, I think we said maybe we could get 20 or 30 students to take a class with this grant money, but we have to use the money and we only have a year to use it. So spring, we're really going to be hitting the ground running. It's hard with the fall because we kind of missed the cutoff with the students starting later, and the semester for students at college level has already begun. So we kind of missed the mark a little bit, but we were able to get, I think we have 6 or 7 students, which is great. Last year, we only had 1 student that completed dual enrollment. So we're on our way already. Given we've only been allowed to do dual enrollment, dual credit for a year, we're really making great strides. There's processes in place. The counselors are working hard. So I hope we can keep pushing this. But the reason I'm sharing it with everyone is because there's a guide here that you can give to your students to help promote it. But just remember, decisions are made by the counselors. So kids have to be in certain academic standing, have to be in 11th and 12th grade to do these opportunities that you see here. So maybe work with your counselor, make sure it's okay for you to share something with a kid. If you think that you have a kid who really wants to do it and they're going to excel, definitely get with them as soon as possible so we can get them enrolled. Okay. Essie's on it too. That's good. Yeah. Yes, and they do want your suggestions. And you know, you guys work with the kids a lot, so you could be really helpful in determining which students would benefit from this, or who just want to do it and are in good academic standing and can do it. Yes, yes. This is something, a blog was done in the past when Emma was here that tried to highlight these opportunities, but the short answer is yes. We want to push this. We want to get students to our school that are interested in these opportunities and that can be successful both with these opportunities and with us. So yes, we should definitely be promoting these things. And Dave, if you want to get with me on this, we can figure out like some sort of a plan for that. Okay. And then the industry credentials certifications, that's also just, again, right now, just for 11th and 12th graders. You can take a look at what's available, but the primary one that all the students are using is through OSHA. They have a lot of different certifications that are available to students. We do have ICEV. It's a little more complicated, but if students do something through ICEV, they can earn a credit with us as well. So something just to think about on that. Oh, Angela's here too. Yeah, we'll have to talk, Angela. Yeah. Okay, so real quick too, our partners for dual enrollment, I forgot to mention, we now have 5. We went from 2 to 5, which is great. We have CCAC, CCP, Lackawanna, Luzerne, and Penn West. So we officially have agreements for 5 schools. I will tell you, please be careful with CCP, Community College of Philadelphia. If the student is not a Philadelphia County resident, we cannot promote CCP because it costs us more money. So CCP is only being offered to residents of Philadelphia County. Okay. All right, perfect. Okay, so this is the activity I want you to do. It's super easy. Let me get the link for you. It's really different than the activities I've had you do in the past. It's more looking at something you may have done in your past as it relates to career, and maybe it impacted you, and just starting to think about like how that might motivate you to, you know, give activities to your students in the future. So I just really want everybody to just take a minute. If you don't get this done by 2 o'clock, that's okay. You can hang on. I can answer questions. You can do it later, not a problem. But please take some time to complete this activity. And then at the very end, when you answer the questions, there'll be a form where you'll get Act 48. So make sure you click on the form and complete that as well. Did that come through? Is anybody having a hard time? It's unclickable. Weird. Let me try again. Oh, I was just talking to Caroline for some reason in direct message. Sorry about that. Okay, try that now. And that's all I have. So you can work on that activity. This last slide really just has resources. I'm going to grab the link for the slides now while you're working on the activity, and I'll drop them in chat. And then here's my information. If you have questions, you know, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. I really like that quote. So just something to take away. Okay, let me get the slides for everybody, and I'll look at the chat and see if I missed anything. And I appreciate your patience as I navigate everything here. Yeah, Caroline, sorry about that. Yeah, Angela, the SAS site has a lot of really cool stuff. I didn't know they had that on there. I like that. That would be really good. Marianne, why can't 9th or 10th grade work on certification? That's just something we haven't gotten to. We don't have enough students interested who really need these things right now in these upper grades. So until we produce more interest, I just don't think we're in a position to open it up. And that's the short answer, but there's more to it than that.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Sure.
This is Tammy.
Tammy.
Those of us who don't do the CEW because we don't have a home room or for whatever reason, we don't have to fill out the form you sent, the doc.
The activity?
Yeah.
Well, it's just a reflection of something you may have done in the past, or maybe your child has done as it relates to careers. So you could definitely complete it.
Okay.
And then I want you to get Act 48. So if you want that, definitely do that. Okay, thanks, Andrew. Sorry if you're already gone. Already got some responses. Thank you. I'm excited to see what some of you may have done in the past, or maybe your child or a student that you've had. You can answer the questions from any of those different perspectives. So something you might have done, your current child, or a student. So just thinking in different ways there. Thought this would be more fun than asking everybody multiple choice questions about CEW requirements. And I guess I'm going to stop the recording.